So this is going to be a nice long episode of the Co-Pilots podcast where we talk about two shows that neither of us really gives a shit about.
Bullshit, crap, fantasy, historical TV shows. I'm sick of it. There's too much. There's too much diet Game of Thrones going on.
But please listen to the whole episode.
It's worth it because we say. I'm pretty sure we might say fuck like right in the middle. So at least listen for that.
Oh yeah, we do. There is some rude words.
Oh yeah. We're really good at doing that bit. Talking critically about the TV shows. No, we're rubbish at that. But what we
luckily neither of us studied at a university.
No, not TV.
What was the full title of your degree?
Film studies.
I thought it had a wankier name than that.
No, definitely film studies. I might have done with
dissertation
on a TV
I mean,
show,
I thought it was TV and film production or something like that.
Not even that good. Solent. The thing is, when Solent made up the courses, they realised they had to pay by the letter, so they just called it film studies. It was cheaper.
Well, I suppose it means the diploma's smaller, I guess.
I don't even know where it is, to be honest. It's somewhere in this house, but
yeah, not quite as like bougie as my computer games development degree. You know, they spent a lot of money on letters for that.
Yeah, and that paid off.
Yeah, kind of.
We have a website, copilotspodcast.co.uk. It's the best website you'll ever visit. We have a Twitter account, real copilots. It's the best Twitter account you'll ever see. We have an Instagram profile, the Real Co-Pilots Podcast. If you go on there now, you get to see Richard's feet covered in socks which bear several different copies of my face on them.
Are they different? I thought they were all the same picture.
Oh yeah, they are, aren't they? What's weird is looking at them upside down, like what I'm doing now. But yeah, I was really pleased when I saw that was a possibility for a Christmas present for you.
Do you know what it reminded me? You can get stuff printed on things.
Yep. Yes, you can.
You will never regret that.
Yeah, never. Definitely not. Yeah.
I found a place that does blankets.
Oh God. You're probably bored of hearing us talking about this, so listen to us talk about something else now.
Yeah, cue the music.
Ow!
I'm not sure our claps were in sync, but we'll figure that out later.
They never are. Like when they actually come down the line via Skype, they're never in sync.
Yeah, but they always line up at almost right in the edit.
That's true. Anyway, that's really boring. Speaking of really boring,
yeah, on to the really exciting stuff.
Do you know what? I've figured it out. It's like since Game of Thrones started, there's just so much really bad fantasy and like historical TV series, and it just needs to stop now, please.
Yeah, because while I have privately said to you that one of these I think is better than the other, they are by no means good.
Right. Which one do you want to get stuck into first?
Shall we start with which one did you think was better? And we'll just go with that one.
I thought The Last Kingdom was loads better.
Okay, so let's do not Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Nalhalla.
Yeah, which I think is my problem with this. So this is the show that I like the least of the two. And I think maybe because
You've just spent a lot of time
spent a lot of time killing Saxons. So making them the main characters, well, not way to... yeah.
To be fair, like I don't think they're not like necessarily the protagonists, are they? They're not the people we root for. Certainly not the people I root for.
I don't know.
I'm on board with the Danes.
Team Danes is the team. Well, they seem to be winning. So I'm not gonna lie, I did watch. Although I said I only liked it the least, I did watch 4 episodes of it.
I actually
just wanted to see what happened.
Yeah, this is the thing. I was like, oh man, it's an hour long, and it's going to be like, because I just watched Cursed as well, so I was like, this is 2 hours of like not very good beardy men swinging swords about, and then I was like, shit, this is actually quite good.
So that's the thing. I watched 4 episodes. I mean, I'm still not thrilled by it. So my main issue with it, all of it, the whole thing, is the aesthetic. I don't think it's done very well.
Go on.
I think a lot of, especially in episode 1, a lot of the Saxon clothes look a bit modern and clean.
You want them all covered in shit?
No, they look like they've just come out of like wardrobe. I mean, they have, admittedly, just come out of wardrobe onto this set.
I know what you're saying. It's a bit wiggy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit too... And not to, like, slag off LARPing in any way, shape or form, but this feels very, like, oh, I've just gone down and filmed my mates in a field. And Matthew McFadden's there for some reason. But, yeah, it just feels a bit like someone's filmed... almost like a fan movie, but in a bad way.
Yeah, I think that is quite harsh.
Yeah, I think no, it is. I think that maybe the fighting scenes, the actual story seems fine and interesting enough, but they can't have Vikings and have less fighting.
That's true. Yeah, I kind of, now that you say it, actually, I'm like, do you know what? That's a really good point. It didn't occur to me at the time when I was watching it, but thinking back on it, like, well, there was one chap whose shirt was very, very blue.
Oh god, that's the thing. I'm slagging off how the Saxons were dressed, but Jesus Christ, the Vikings. Because so essentially the colour schemes for like the Saxons and the Danes seem to be the Saxons wear brown and grey and look very sad.
They're like, what have we got left over from the walkers on Walking Dead? Yeah, we'll have that.
Yeah, and then the Vikings are in the brightest fucking colours I've ever seen. I had to double check through the settings of my TV were right. I was just like, they don't expect me to think that it was this blue.
But even with that, I mean, like you say, you touched on that the stories is pretty good. So,
yeah,
it's
just
the young. What's his name? He's not, because they changed his name halfway through, didn't they? His name is something.
It's Uthred by the end of it.
Yeah, but what was he called before? Can you remember what he was called before that?
No one gives a shit.
No. But yeah, so yeah, the Vikings come in and they attack the Saxons and they nick this kid. Who's who is he? He's the heir to the. Is he the heir to the throne or something? Or I can't remember. He's important.
He's an alderman.
Yeah,
so like a lord, essentially. He's a landowner.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Because his dad's killed in the battle, isn't he?
Yeah. So his dad swore fealty to some cunt, and like walked into the most painfully obvious trap.
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
I couldn't believe it. So they see the group of Danes and they're like, right, come on, we outnumber them like 2-1. Let's go
and then the Danes turn into the fucking Whisperers.
We just start whispering. They're just looking around like, what the fuck are they doing? But then they throw up a shield wall, and I don't understand what they thought they were going to do, because they were like pushing against it, and then one of them shouts, "Oh, it's working! Keep pushing them back."
Because
what's working?
And that's the thing. The Danes are shouting in English, just like, "Yeah, let them come." yeah, just keep shuffling back a little bit. Like, yeah, some of you will die, but it'll be fine.
Meanwhile, other side of the wall, yeah, keep pushing, it'll be fine.
Yeah, pushing. We're winning. We're winning. Stab, 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 stab. Why is there a second shield wall behind us?
That was funny.
Oh.
Oh, but then, matey who, I can't remember his character name, but Quirrell, the guy who plays Quirrell, he's standing there, he's watching what happens, and he goes, dear God, anything but that. It's like, what, you've seen this before? Oh my God.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
No,
so this happens every time. And then he runs into a castle and says, Trolls in the dungeon!
Oh, that really, really did make me laugh. I was like, well, if you had an idea this might happen, why didn't you fucking say something?
Yeah, it's always hard to get the first battle right and make sure that some of your cast survive is really the trick. So the one kid survives, and Rita as well. And they're just like, oh, cool. I guess we're Danes now.
Yeah, but I quite like that. I quite like that there's going to be, like, you know, obviously...
Yeah, so having seen a couple more episodes, that's the most interesting part of the story, is the fact that
he's torn between who raised him and where he was born.
Sort of, but mostly that all of the Danes are like, oh, Jesus, a Saxon. Actually, no, the Danes wouldn't be going, oh, Jesus, oh, Odin, a Saxon. And all the Saxons are like, oh, Jesus, a Dane. And no one really likes him, and everyone's trying to kill him.
Cool. That was something that did annoy me, is because it jumps ahead a bunch of years, and suddenly he's like a young man. That actor, I was just like, I don't think you're particularly good, and it really took me out of it, because there's a conversation when him and the adult breeder are sat around chatting about what they're going to do, and I was like, this is the most painful fucking scene, because they were both just, it was really, really wooden. So that was a shame. And then, yeah, that was my other big problem with it, is by the end of episode 1, all the really interesting and cool characters are fucking dead.
Yeah, it is weird to kill off so many characters in the first episode.
Yeah.
And I want to say that's probably a Game of Thronesy thing, where they've gone, look, we bothered to hire Matthew McFadden to be in our TV show. Oh, look, we killed him. And it's like, yeah, even Game of Thrones gave Sean Bean a whole season. Well, most of a season. Spoilers for season 2. He's not in it.
The other bit that really confused me is when the Saxons attack the settlement right at the end, and Ragnar and his dad, Ragnar, and his wife are just in the hall. Ragnar Senior's been stabbed, so he's bleeding out.
You know, there's quite clearly a way out of that fucking building.
This is the thing. Everyone else leaves the building, and then Ragnar and his wife turn to each other, and it's like in a moment of realization, like, oh, well, we're going to die here. And she hands him a knife, like, well, guess we better go together. And he's like, yeah, definitely. Stabs her, pulls the knife out, and he's like, oh, well, I better leave now. Just gets up, just walks out the building. I mean, he's on fire, but that was cool.
I mean, it's not long. And those weren't Saxons that attacked, those were other Danes.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. So, you know, earlier on...
Kjartan, wasn't it? Yeah, Kjartan
yeah.
Sven. Yes. Oh, yeah, no, he's actually, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot
it makes it a much more... What's quite interesting, one of the things that I like is how they aren't saying it's not like God versus the heathens, like history wants you to think. It's very like, oh, well, this guy's friends with like the Danes, and this guy, he doesn't really give a shit if the Saxons are sort of like living around land that he's conquered. And it makes it more interesting that from a main character's point of view, anyone could try and kill you. You can't trust anyone. And even the people you think you can trust, you probably shouldn't trust. and just in case, maybe be a loner.
I'm starting to think it doesn't go quite to plan with him.
The thing, it'd be boring if it did.
True.
And he makes quite a lot of progress in very few episodes. I'm at episode 4. He's already met the fucking king, and is just chilling with him. And it's like, I already know there are 4 seasons of this. Maybe don't do everything in the first season.
Well, I think I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. It jumps like from start to finish is about 40 years.
Okay, that's quite substantial.
But yeah, I thought it was all right. It was like I don't think I'll watch any more of it. But while it was on, I was like, this is half decent.
I sort of feel like the episodes are long for the sake of being long.
Yeah, I wonder if they check, because it started on BBC Two, series 1 and 2, and then when it went to Netflix, they added 2 more episodes per series. So I wonder if they changed the length of it or whatever.
Maybe I would
don't
maybe
know.
have some doubts that they've done that. It's Netflix like 10 episode seasons, which is fair enough.
There's a lot of like Viking stuff out at the minute, isn't there? Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that is probably why I preferred Cursed, because it was something different.
I can't believe you preferred Cursed. It was so bad.
The thing is, so I preferred Cursed, but I watched Cursed, like, I think I watched the first couple episodes when it first came out. And I
Last
went,
year.
Okay. Yeah. it's been a little while. But, yeah. Yeah, The Last Kingdom is fine.
It's it's nothing more than fine.
Yeah, I think there are... Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's based on a series of novels. That makes me feel bad. Maybe I should not read those.
I get the feeling that Cursed is based on a novel as well, but I don't know
Yeah,
why.
probably.
Oh, there you go. Based on the illustrated novel of the same name by Frank Miller. What, that Frank Miller? It is that Frank Miller. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
And it's this bad.
Should we move on to Cursed?
Yes, please. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's just...
It's shite. It's a fucking bag of shite.
So how long did it take you to figure out it was very much the start of the Arthur's legend?
The bit where she goes at the start, before Excalibur chose a king, it chose a queen.
I feel like I didn't pay very much attention until the start. Because it took me like the whole first episode to be like, hang on a minute. I know that sword.
But I'm pretty sure that she's going to become Lady of the Lake. You know, she's
Yeah, that
eventually
was
gonna
very much my
launch
impression.
The sword at Arthur. Oh, it was just right. So to talk about something we criticised Last Kingdom for, lovely colours in Cursed, but fuck me.
I remember it being very pretty.
Yeah, I just didn't give a shit. It was just fairies flying about. You know, like it was.
See, that's the
it
thing.
was
I found the
bad fantasy. It was like, oh, the Thringy Bangy throng, and we must go to the Thror and send the Spielfils down to the Whittle Ducks, and it was just really annoying.
So the thing, I get the feeling that this might have got a lot of that out of his system in the first episode, and then it just goes like, hey, Camelot and stuff. Whereas I think The Last Kingdom will just stay like that.
It was just like, I can't. It was like it was a really storytelling. It was just, I just thought it was crap. I can't put my finger on what it is. It was like, because I think it didn't know like how seriously to take itself, and then I think it settled on not really taking itself that seriously. And
I think I've spotted the problem. So we've established the Legend of Arthur, isn't it? But this is an American fantasy drama. Can you see where I think the problem might be?
the bit where the fucking fairies come into it, mate. Seriously, when the
I think the problem is the Americans.
But like, there was a bit that made me actually laugh out loud. Like, do you remember the bit? Have you not seen this in a while then?
Oh yeah, it's been a little while, but I remember it roughly.
So like, there's a bit where there's an injured, like, actual literal fairy who's lying on I don't know, some bit of wood or something, and the look of this fairy made me laugh out loud because it was like furry, and then it looked like a giant squirrel, but it had wings on it, and I actually said out loud, I cannot believe actual human adults thought this was a good idea. But yeah, it's I don't know, it just rubbed me up the wrong way. I was like, I just don't give a shit what happens to any of you. There's some like quite cool imagery, like when they get flashes of matey with the forest on fire, and they go in the hood and he's swinging a big old sword, and then Merlin's doing a fucking Frankenstein experiment, and he tells the guy in the suit of armour, go stand out there, stand on the metal while the storm's going on, and he's like, really? I don't think, yeah, no, you'll be alright.
That's the thing, I quite like this. The thing, I quite like seeing different portrayals of Merlin in various things, because in his own TV show, he's a bit lucky. He's very Harry Potter, just kind of a bit lucky in getting away with stuff. And in this, he seems quite like angsty and like an angry young wizard. Very late Potter.
I just, yeah. Again, I felt like it was a bit pantomimey.
That's the thing. I don't think either of these shows. Medieval, I think, is it's a very hard like setting to get right without going very dark, or this is the other side of that. It's not too dark,
Monty
so it's
Python.
quite appealing to everyone. Yeah, this sort of sits somewhere between Dark and Monty Python.
Somewhere between the two.
Yeah, they both definitely lean more towards Monty Python, but
At least Monty Python knew they were taking the piss. I don't think this was trying to take the piss, but I thought it was taking the piss.
yeah, I'd be more open to the source material for this, for Cursed, than the Last Kingdom, because I think it's more interesting.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, I spent a lot of time in Cornwall, and there's some, like, you know, places down there that are really important. Like they, like Tintagel is supposedly where he was supposed to. Yeah,
there are quite a lot of places that are like,
cool there.
This is probably Camelot, and everyone just goes,
It's like when you go to a pub and the sign says, "Oh yeah, Britain's oldest pub." It's like, I've seen that in like 10 pubs. One of you's fucking lying.
Yeah.
Well, 9 of you are lying. Actually, it was when I was at Tintagel that I nearly bought a sword. And then you went and bought a sword.
Yeah. Yeah, because, you know, I was just very tired, and I was looking at swords on Etsy, and then
You were tired. Oh, fuck it, I'll buy a sword.
Before I knew it, I bought a sword.
To be
And
fair,
I'm very excited.
I would be as well, to be honest. But I got drunk and bought a PS2 once, and that was the most excited I was. I'd been for a while.
Yeah, but don't you have a lightsaber?
It's right here, on the wall next to my light switch. The batteries are gone though, so like I flick it on, and it hasn't got enough power in it to make it red, so it sort of comes on pink, and then just disappears. So
That's a very different Darth Vader, that.
yeah. But yeah, I think a sword might be the next a cool thing to own, to put up on the wall. Yeah, so I thought this was wank.
Yeah, that's the thing. This hasn't been a very good week.
Nah, I mean, well, we had a couple of bangers last week, didn't we? So we were due a...
That's the thing. This year so far has
We've had
been
some half-decent
pretty
stuff.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, I've left the wrong spreadsheet open again. It's the film spreadsheet. I was just like, oh, what's next? Is it this massively long thing? I'm never going to be able to find that. Yeah, it's been really good all year. I'm trying to think what the weakest thing we've watched this year.
I can't remember what Private Eyes is.
That's the hockey man who becomes a private investigator for no obvious reason.
Oh God, yeah, that was fucking dreadful. But yeah, so Last Kingdom I thought was fine. Cursed I really didn't think was okay.
Yeah, I think they were both average. They're I think what's weird about Cursed is Netflix had a budget and they threw it at it and it didn't. I don't think it delivered. No. Whereas The Last Kingdom had a BBC budget, so that's why it didn't deliver. Oh, that'll be why all the costumes look a bit like
a bit
shite.
Naff.
They're just Doctor Who costumes. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think the next episode, although we should probably stop listing what's coming next after all the
because
issues
things happen
that we've
with
had.
like people's hard drives when they get new PCs.
Yeah, sometimes you're just like looking for an audio file and you go, I swear we've definitely recorded it. I have my audio. I know, I'll ask him. No. But now I've got a nice one called Lost Episodes. I think that's what I called it. Or maybe I just called it Blame Joe. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm happy with either of those. Well, yeah, I mean, well, let's do it anyway, because this is what you might be listening to next time is Scrubs, which I think we can all agree is fantabulous. The Good Doctor, which it kind of rings a bell. I might have seen that. I can't remember.
The only thing I know about The Good Doctor is it's got. Do you remember Bates Motel?
Vaguely, I didn't watch much of it.
So the guy who plays Norman Bates in that is the lead in Good Doctor. That's all I know about it.
Fair enough. And presumably it's about a doctor of some sort.
Yeah. Hopefully all his patients survive. Otherwise he's been typecast.
Yeah, it turns out it's about Dr. Harold Shipman. The Good Doctor.
God.
We should make that.
Yeah, it makes me think there should be.
Harold Shipman, The Comedy Years. Learn how to cook with Ted Bundy.
Yeah, just any TV show that has like a positive or negative like adjective in it. Just make a parody that's just the opposite. So this is the Good Doctor. We'll just make The Bad Doctor.
Good Education. That would be a really boring show. That's just going to school.
Yeah, that's why it's a parody. That's why it's funny. I'm trying to think of what other ones of these have.
The end of the fucking world could become the end of the lovely world.
The start of the fucking world. It's just the Big Bang, and that's all you get. Or I don't know. We could go out there. God created it. That's too hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably call it a day on that, really.
Yeah, I reckon. Let's see how long we can drag this bit out. We're just winding down because it's kind of awkward now.
Yeah, I don't know. What should we aim for?
But let's give it a countdown. 10, 9,